Welcome! We've made it to the final explainer in our huge 9-part series on Daniel Kahneman's incredible book, Thinking Fast and Slow. That's right. For the past 8 explainers, we've been investigating the hidden flaws and systematic errors in our intuition. You could say we've been building a case against our own cognitive biases. Well, in this final installment, we're not just going to give you the verdict. What's even more important is that we're going to give you the practical tools that Kahneman offers so you can start making better decisions today. Okay, time for the closing arguments. Here's what we've got on the docket. We'll review the case, look at some safeguards, here's some key testimony about intuition, and then finally, we'll deliver the verdict and your sentence. So the heart of this entire trial, the core of Kahneman's work, is really about this conflict between two very different systems that are always running in our minds. You've got System 1, it's the star of the show, fast, instinctive, and always on. It's behind almost all of our snap judgments. And it's incredibly efficient, but it loves taking shortcuts. And those shortcuts lead to predictable, systematic errors. Then you have System 2. That's our slow, rational self. The problem is, it's kind of lazy and often just doesn't bother to double-check System 1's work. Over this whole series, we have presented a mountain of evidence. I'm talking about all those systematic biases that pop up because of System 1's well-meaning but often faulty shortcuts. Do these ring a bell? From overconfidence to that nagging feeling of loss aversion, these are not just random screw-ups. They are predictable, built-in patterns in how we think, and they've been the key exhibits in our trial. And here's the most important takeaway. Just knowing about these biases isn't some magic cure. You can't just think your way out of bias. Instead, we need real practical strategies, better processes, to counteract our mind's natural instincts. So, if our minds are fundamentally flawed, what do? Well, just like in a courtroom, we need procedural safeguards to make sure we're getting a fair verdict when we make decisions. Okay, this might just be the single most useful tool from the entire book. It's called the pre-mortem. It's an absolutely brilliant way to force our lazy System 2 to wake up and pay attention, by basically tricking our natural optimism. The real genius here is how it reframes the whole exercise. By pretending the disaster has already happened, you give everyone permission to voice their real doubts and spot risks that would normally get squashed by optimism or groupthink. Another key safeguard is fighting that pesky planning fallacy. We naturally see our own projects from the inside view. We think they're special. Kahneman says no. Go find the outside view. Ask yourself, what does the data say? What happened when other people tried this? That information, the base rate, is a way better predictor than your gut will ever be. Kahneman also shows us overwhelming proof that for big, important decisions in fields like medicine or aviation, simple things like checklists and algorithms consistently lead to better outcomes than the intuition of even the most seasoned experts. It's kind of humbling, really. So after all of this, is our intuition always the bad guy here? Is that gut feeling we get always wrong? Well, not exactly. This gives us a super clear rule for when we can actually trust our gut. It turns out, expert intuition isn't magic. It's just pattern recognition that you learn over time, but only under the right conditions. This table just nails it. In a predictable world with instant, clear feedback, think chess masters or firefighters, your intuition can become incredibly reliable. But in unpredictable environments, where feedback is slow or confusing, like trying to pick stocks or forecast elections, your intuition is really just guessing. All right, after hearing all the evidence, it's time for the final verdict. Our intuition is not found guilty of being malicious, but it is found guilty of being fundamentally unreliable. It requires careful, lifelong supervision. So your sentence, should you choose to accept it, is to carry out 3 simple but seriously powerful habits to sharpen your thinking. That's it. 3 things you can literally start doing tomorrow. Before you kick off that next big project, run a pre-mortem. Before you set a deadline, go find the outside view. And since it's way easier to spot biases in other people, ask a coworker you trust to be your bias spotter. And this really is the hopeful conclusion to our whole trial. The reason we can even talk about cognitive biases is because they're systematic, they're predictable. And if a problem is predictable, it can be managed. So that's the final question I want to leave you with. Thank you so much for coming along on this 9-part journey through thinking fast and slow. We really hope it's given you some powerful new tools to become a wiser decision maker.